Hi guys and welcome back. Today I'm going to teach you how to do Pubg's free look, or the mechanic that is active when you're going to press left alt, if you know it that way. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the blueprint. So here I have my character, and what we need to get first is an input action mapping. I don't have one, but let's just create one real fast. So let's go to edit, project settings, wait it to load, and then let's go to input. Then here what we need to do is to go to action mappings, click on this plus, and let's give it a name. So I'm going to name it free look. Alright, then I'm going to get here the button left alt. Left, okay, not that name. Let's see, yeah, left alt right here. Good. Let's go back in here. So let me delete this, and now I'm going to get free look. Okay, and now let's get the logic down here. So what we want to do. So this is going to be my mesh, just for the reference, so I know if it is going to work or not. Probably in your game you're going to have a mesh like a character, a human, or a creature, or whatever you have. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we are going to look to our right, let's say, and then we are going to let the left alt to go. Our view is going to go back to our initial rotation, and our mesh is not going to move around. So let's set up a variable right here. We are going to get our camera, and we are going to get world rotation, okay, not location, rotation. Let me align this, so I'm going to straighten the connection, and then from the return value, I'm going to promote this to a variable. So I'm going to call this camera initial rotation. Then I'm going to plug this into pressed. Okay, now let's go a little bit into my viewport. So as you can see here, I have a spring arm, I have a camera, and the arrow is unnecessary. So into my spring arm here, you're going to see that the target arm length is 0, and here I have all of these checked. Okay, and then what we need to do into our camera is to make sure that we have use spawn control rotation, and as well, okay, let me see, use spawn control rotation as I said, and then we need to go into our character and have here use controller rotation yellow. Okay, let's go back into our event graph, and what we'll need to do here is that we'll need to set up to disable some of these features. So what we need to get here is to get our camera, and here we need to set, okay, let me see how it's called. So use spawn control rotation. So we're going to set use spawn control rotation, and we need to disable this. Then we need to set your use controller rotation yo. So we are going to disable this, and this is pretty much all for the pressed part. Okay, now let's go into the release part. So here, what we are going to do is that we are going to interpolate our original rotation of the camera and as well the current rotation. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to add timeline, and let's call this our interpolation. Okay. Then what we need to do here is to get from the released, unplug this from the play, and plug it into play from start. Alright, then what we need to do here is to create a float track. I'm going to call this rInterp once again. Alright, and then I'm going to give it the length of 0.75. Alright, then I'm going to add 2 new keyframes. I'm going to add 1 at a time 0 and value 3, and 1 at a time 0.75 and value 3. Alright, now I'm going to close this, and we are going to need to do some to get the camera. So we need to get a reference to this, and let's set world rotation. Okay, and now from the new rotation we need to get a rInterp. So what it's going to do is that it's going to gradually transform the camera world rotation from the current location to the original rotation. So what we need to do is to get the current. So the current is going to be the world rotation. So out of the camera, get world rotation. Okay, let me straighten this up. Okay, then plug this into current. Then we need to get the target, and the target is going to be the camera initial rotation. So what this is going to do now is going to get the world rotation that we are going to have, and it is going to get transformed to the camera initial rotation. So now why we are going to use a timeline is because we need to do this kind of on tick, but we can't use on tick because it's not needed to, and the performance is going to be pretty bad. Okay, then what we need to do is to get the float jack that we created and plug it into the interrupt speed. Okay, and then for the delta time, we need to get world delta seconds and plug it into the delta time. So basically, let me see if I can get event tick. Alright, so the get world delta seconds is just a shortcut for the delta seconds from the event tick. So now I'm going to delete this. Alright, so now after we are going to set the world rotation, we will need to re-enable these features right here. So let me drag this here, and then from finished, what we want to do is to get both of these once again, and we need just to enable them. Okay, so now let's see what we have until now. So when I'm going to press left alt and I'm going to move my camera, as you can see, the mesh is not going to move with my camera, and I'm going to be able to free look. Alright, but as we can see, our view is going to get teleported back to where it was when we let the key off. So let's go back into our character and let's see how we can fix this. So what we are going to need to do is to get our controller. Okay, and we need to set control rotation, and what we need to do is to set the new rotation to be the camera initial rotation, and let's see if this works. Right, so now we have another problem here. If I'm going to move, let's say 90 degrees here, and I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to move my mouse, you can see here a problem. So if I'm going to make our timeline longer, so let's say 5 seconds, just for the purpose of demonstration. As you can see, I can make the camera not to go in that specific, to get that specific rotation, and that is a problem. So now we are going to make this back to 0.5. Okay, then we are going to go into the event graph. So here, what we need to do is to get controller, so get player controller. Okay, then out of the return value, get something with delta. Okay, get input mouse delta. Alright, let me straighten this up. And now we need to check some values. So basically, the delta x and the delta y are going to be how much you move your mouse while this is going to happen. So if the movement is greater or equal to 0.4, the same thing applies to delta y. So if any of these conditions are true, we are going to do a branch. So we are going to do a branch from the set world rotation. So if any of these are true, we are going to stop this. Okay, so let me add some reroute node right here. Okay, and then as well, we are going to do the final thing. Alright, no, not that one. We are going to do the finishing right here. So let me add a sequence, and out of here, this goes here. Alright, some warriors node. So we are going to be, so we can actually see what we did here. And now let's check this out. So as you can see, if I'm going to press Alt, move a lot, and then I'm going to let it go, everything is going to be alright. But if I'm going to move my mouse, as you can see, it is going to automatically teleport to the location that we actually had to. And one more thing that you'll need to do, you'll need to make sure that you cannot go 360 degrees around. So you'll just need to clamp this. But as well, you can even go with this if you want. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this tutorial. I hope that this was interesting and that you liked it. And if you learned something new from this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way you can support me. So guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, goodbye.